I never thought about finishing my career or stop playing. I was always confident I was gonna return. I want to show more, that I can do more. I'm gonna come back stronger and even better.
Hailing from the valleys of Tepeji in central East Mexico, Raúl Jiménez has been on one of the most remarkable journeys in Premier League history.
Raúl was seen as a huge signing for Wolves. I was absolutely blown away by his durability. Because you bear in mind, in his first season at Molineux, he played more minutes than he played in his first 2 seasons combined at Benfica.
I knew as soon as he came, I knew he will help us a lot. He's a really smart player. He knows every time where he needs to be in the box to score the goals. He's a fantastic finisher. Just one of the best I've ever played with.
And number 9's goal in the finest traditions.
The way he plays and the way he puts himself around, and I think in terms of the positions he puts himself in to score goals, I think that's what he's so good at, because he's so clever and so smart in terms of how he does it.
I think from playing against him, it was always a nuisance, you know. He just always kept running, didn't stop, and then he could hold the ball up and he could score. And then coming into Wolves and playing with him, you can kind of see how much of an impact he has on the team.
I think what you saw at Wolves was a very unselfish player. And I think that was very important. You know, you would see him holding the ball up and looking for the runner. You know, it's something he did that happened time and again.
Jimenez's reputation continued to grow on the international stage too. Mexico won the 2019 Gold Cup, with Jiménez picking up the Golden Ball after scoring 5 goals.
I knew he was a good player when he came to England. I didn't know he was quite that good. I don't even know if he knew he was quite that good. He was absolutely fantastic at the start of his time at Wolves.
Jiménez scored 30 goals across his first 2 Premier League campaigns, but in November 2020, an horrific head injury left the footballing world holding their breath.
Fearful crack of heads there.
Well, it is Raúl Jiménez, we've been told.
There are things that you are able to put away from your memories, but this moment will stay forever. And then the noise, that will stay. It was goodness.
You know, I don't think there's anybody in the stadium didn't have the same sense that something awful had happened, and I think we were pretty much straight on. I knew immediately that he was seriously injured.
We were so afraid, and then you start listening cold red, and then start putting in your head cold red. And I just ask, what's code red? You say, and you start thinking, is he alive? What's code red? What does it mean? And you see everybody going. And I remember I just tried to get away, but it was impossible. It was impossible.
Jiménez successfully underwent surgery after fracturing his skull, returning to Premier League action just 9 months later.
I think a big thing I've got to mention in terms of the bravery shown when he came back from what he came back from. I'll be honest, because I seen times when he came back for it and he couldn't do anything. He had a big scar on his head here. All he could do was walk around the training pitch. For our own selfish point of view, to hear he could join back in with us was just incredible.
Jiménez, is this his moment? Still Raúl Jiménez. Oh, the outpouring of emotion. Raúl Jiménez playing again, scoring again. 10 months after the accident that changed his life.
An equally emotional return to international football saw Jiménez back amongst the goals for his country, helping Mexico secure qualification to Qatar 2022.
I don't think, given the horrific injury he suffered, we have seen, you know, Jiménez back to the level he was at before. But for me, when you suffer something like that, not just the physical side of it, but also the injury layoff, some of the turmoil that he's had to go through, and I think in some ways And this World Cup could almost be the reset button, and this is where he shows up.
I do think Raúl Jiménez can have a great World Cup in Qatar for Mexico, because I think it's actually a decent, underrated Mexican team. Obviously, it's a football-mad country. There's a load of pressure on them to do well. There is the quality there so that all the pressure is not on him, even if he does relish that pressure.